Hey everybody, this is Chris. Today I'm going to show you in detail how to make a crossbow. And of course I use no electrical power tools. Please subscribe to me on YouTube or follow me on Twitter or Instagram so you can keep up on all my projects. Here we go. Alright, for the stock I'm going to be using walnut, which is left over from the stump furniture rocking chairs. This is about 3 feet long. It's about 2 inches thick and goes from 4 inches wide to 8 inches wide. For the bow, I'll be using hickory, which is from a stave left over from when I made the bow and arrow. And for the trigger, I'll be using Brazilian heartwood, which I found in a barn, and this was what I used to make the carving bench. I don't have exact dimensions yet, so I'm going to start by making a bolt and then build the crossbow around it. Okay, I've made a couple bolts, one from oak, one from ash, and the shaft length on these is 20 inches. So let's lay this out. Okay, here's our walnut stock. The bow is going to go here, and the trigger is going to go somewhere here. So what we're going to do first is take the bolt, leave a little clearance for the arrowhead. So we're going to come back 19 inches and mark it. Now I need 2 more inches for clearance, so come back to 21 inches. Then I want a 1-inch shelf. So I'm going to come down 1 inch, mark that off. Now we need to locate the trigger. So the release point for the arrow is going to be right here at 19 inches. And then we want to come down another 5/8 inch, and that's where we're going to locate the 2-inch diameter hole. There we go. So we're going to start by drilling a 2-inch diameter hole right here. I've got my 2-inch diameter T-auger. Now I'm going to cut the shelf, but I'm going to angle this a bit here to leave some material for the bolt holder. Now I'm going to take the heartwood and carve it into a 2-inch diameter cylinder to fit into the hole. Alright, that fits in there good. Alright, let's mark this down the middle. And then we're going to come down 3/8 from the top and 3/8 from the bottom. And this is where we're going to carve the string holder on top and then the trigger holder on the bottom. Let's take a closer look at this trigger. On the bottom of the trigger where it's going to engage the handle, it's square. On the top where it's going to engage the string, it's curved. Alright, let's check out the trigger. There'll be the handle here, the string here. Boom, there you go. Now I'm going to install the grip. So I'm going to come back 18.5 inches from the front. So there's a little overlap with the trigger. Mark the width of the board I'm going to use. Then I'm going to come in here with my bit and brace and chisels to remove the wood, fashion the handle, and install it. This piece of wood right now is 4 inches wide. I'm going to come back 3 inches. Okay, I want to make sure we're crystal clear on the trigger. So this is eventually going to become the grip. It connects to the square end of the trigger, and this is where it rotates. And as I pull on the grip, it's going to release the trigger and rotate forward. I slide this in, I pin it, and then when I pull this back, it rotates forward. Okay, let's try it out. 3, 2, 1. All right. Now I'm going to mark and start removing wood from my thumb, hand, and trigger area. I've roughed in where my thumb and fingers are going to go, and now I'm going to remove parts of the handle that are in my way. Well, I have my first learning, and it's on the trigger. Obviously, I made this section here way too thin, and it snapped on me when I was cutting it, which is good. I'd rather have it happen now. So I made another one. It looks kind of like a fish head right now. But I've got a lot more meat here, so this isn't going to snap. I've roughed in the trigger, the thumb and finger sections. Now I'm going to make and install the bow so I can see how the string interacts with the trigger. I've already made a detailed video on how to make a bow and an arrow, and so you can click on the link at the end of the video to get that information. For now, here's 3 hours of bow tailoring in 7 seconds. Well, here it is. It's 37 inches long, about 1.5 inches wide, and about 1.5 inches thick. Now, I haven't finished the final tailoring, so I don't know what the poundage is yet. But I want to install this, make a string, and then do the final tailoring. The first thing I'm going to do is cut the 1/8 inch slot into the shelf, which will guide the arrow and have clearance for the bottom feather. Now I'm going to make my bowstring. I'll be using the continuous loop method. I'm not the expert, so I followed the directions from the Backyard Bowyer, and I've included the link to his video in the description section. Here we go. Let's try it out. Now I'm going to put the notch for my arrow in the trigger. Alright, there we go. While I was making some final modifications to my heartwood trigger, it cracked on me. This wood is just way too brittle. So I made another one out of oak. I've arrived at one of those learning moments. This happens when you try something for the first time. I've made these limbs on the bow too short. Remember, I started around 3 foot long. So what the situation is when I draw this back to 16 inches, it's about a 70-pound draw. But you can already see how much I'm stressing the limbs. So even though I've reinforced the ends and the high stress points with the nylon I used to make the string, I don't want to bend these limbs anymore. So I'm going to inset the bow another inch. So I end up with a 70 to 75 pound draw at 16 inches. If I were to do this again, I would have started with a 3.5 foot or 4 foot wide bow. That would allow me to get a higher draw length with less stress on the limbs. Live and learn. The string is going to ride right on the edge here. So I need to lower the knock so it can engage. So I got to take material out of the track. I'm going to file down these corners so the string doesn't catch it when it's released. Hey honey, I'm about to run my crossbow test. So just stay over there, okay?
You're okay.
Ooh, I'm a little nervous. I don't have 100% confidence that this is going to work, so I'm not going to make any. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh! Yeah? Nothing blew up. Wow. All right. Except, I don't think the arrow flew straight. I don't think that's a good thing, but we'll see. I'm going to drill a couple small holes in here and put dowels in there, and then some small holes here, very shallow, and that will help lock this in place so it doesn't move. Now I'm installing the pins to hold the trigger in place. For the arrow holder, I want a piece that's naturally curved, but also pretty springy. And so here's a piece of hickory where there is a knot. You can see it's nice and curved, and I'm going to fashion it so it holds the arrow like this. And there's my arrow holder. Now I'm going to install the block that will hold the bow in place. I'll make sure the pegs are removable. Here I'm going to install the safety for the trigger. All right, arrow holder works. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Now that everything's in working order, I'm going to disassemble and finish the stock. I love woodworking. All right, let's assemble this. We've got our handle, our pivot point, and our safety. Trigger, fastener pin, holder, fastener pin. Install the bow. Lock it in place. All right. Now I'm going to test it with everything fully carved out and assembled. And if all goes well, I'll do some field tests and maybe slay some fruit. I keep forgetting to take the safety out, but I'm glad I have it. Whew. Yes! I don't think those zombies have anything to worry about from me. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, follow me on Twitter or Instagram so you can keep up with all my projects. Thank you.